And regardless, a matchup we should be pretty familiar with at this point. The world champions, the champions of all of known humanity on planet Earth, and I'm assuming Splatoon hasn't been created in a galaxy outside of our own. I'm sure it's possible given how vast the universe is. You could say Jackpot is the universe champions going up against the universe runner-up in FTWin. A rematch from 20XX where FTWin beat Jackpot in a game 5 as well. So very much a good back and forth between these two teams, which seems to be the premier rivalry going on in the West right now. If it wasn't for the sudden resurgence of Starburst today, who like to throw their hat into the ring, but right now it's just these two teams duking it out yet again.
I feel like some of us probably expected this to possibly be the one that either it would be in Grand Finals or at Winners Finals, but Starburst wanted to derail some of that script a little bit there, and we get to see these two teams in Losers Finals. And the key thing here, the loser, of course, gets eliminated, and the winner going on to take on a very resurging Starburst. But you pointed out too, these two teams have duked it out in 20XX and in that Splatoon World Championship from this past week. So I mean, hey, a lot of rolling back and forth, or I guess a lot of games being traded back and forth between two. It's gonna be so much fun to watch these two teams go at it. So hey, a lot of excitement and possibly something to look out for as we see the set possibly develop.
Unless this is like the Jackpot Starburst set, which between those three games literally lasted 5 minutes total. Which case it was exciting to see, but it wasn't necessarily fun. This set, well, there's just a lot of history between these two teams. Not even when they're FTWin and Jackpot, but when these players trade with each other all the time. Like Jared was on Starburst at one point. Players from Sayonara have been combined with each other. Kyo and Leafy have played in several pickups together. It's not FTWin or like all these players are just very familiar with each other, regardless of what the name on the front of the jersey is. And just another chapter to be added into this one. And do my eyes deceive me? Mahi Resort is game 1 coming out.
Your eyes are not lying to you. It's not. We get to see Mahi, reworked Mahi especially, being dished out here. So I'm still remembering the old Mahi layout there, where everything is all cramped up. So there's a little bit more wide open. Yeah.
Wake up from the nightmare. It's over. Things are better now. We don't have to think back to that. By the way, I highly doubt we're going to see Kraken come out from the side of Kyo and FTWin, because the last time the two teams played on this map, Leafy used Tint, Kyo used Kraken, and found a nice little glitch where if you use Kraken against a deployed Tint, you somehow get sent down to hell. So we're probably not going to see that kind of... might learn from that little comp change. Maybe we should change things around a little bit here in this upcoming set.
If they were dished out, either they have something cooking, or they have not learned their lesson from the last time. So hey, my point hopes that they've learned their lesson. They don't get to dish out Kraken in this matchup here in Mahi's zones. And I mean, hey, both these teams going to be running another chapter. The question is who will come out on top. There's a lot of ways that this map can get approached. I'm still eager to see. Now that I'm thinking about a dope pop gun, if that Kraken does come out, I'm gonna be very nervous to see how it gets played a little bit, only a little bit.
Also, another thing to note is this is a double elimination format where losers is best of 5, so there is a little bit of weight for Jackpot. And keep in mind, the last time we saw Jackpot, did we really see them?
Not really.
Starburst just kind of erased them very quickly. And that was about an hour ago. We played 2 best of 5 sets since then. So it's not like Jackpot doesn't know how to handle long waits. They're usually in winners, grands, or losers finals, so they're kind of used to this. But FTWin coming off of I'm assuming a draining best of 5 set against the team they would probably see as their little brother, who's trying to, who gave them everything and more that they could handle. like what is the energy level of both of these teams going to be going into the set, I guess is going to be the question. And I bring that up because I think we're still waiting on one more player from Jackpot to join the lobby. So
you know
they're going to be around.
You know, that is a very fascinating point too, because Jackpot just got quickly ran out of the building against Starburst, but that means, which I guess means a little bit of an extended time to wait until the previous set, Moonlight versus FTWin, gets played. And FTWin had to go through a slog of 5 games, especially with the first map going into overtime, then everybody just kind of fighting left and right. So we could imagine that FTWin kind of got drained a little bit there, kind of similar to how other teams just kind of fell apart. The best comparison, I guess, is basically a basketball team just getting drained after probably like a 2 overtime matchup, and then boom, they got to play again the next day for sure. So there could be some exhaustion settling in from FTWin's end, and hey, we'll see if that does affect FTWin throughout, and if Jackpot feels a little refreshed, and a little bit fired up after getting ran out by Starburst.
Well, I think just coming out here and getting a win at any point would just erase that bad taste in their mouth that they had going out at that one. Game 1 of Losers Finals, FTWin versus Jackpot, and 2 Stampers coming out from FTWin. One being a crab, the other being a zipcaster. Some sword shenanigans going on here at the swimming pool.
And double crab on top of it too, so I guess it's almost fitting that that the swimming pool, I guess, has some semblance of crab tanks being nearby. So that's what we're gonna be seeing from FTWin's end. We're gonna be looking to see how they can take advantage of not just the double sword, but also the double crab tank to help pressure Jackpot out of there as much as they can. This is again turning into a very similar script where both teams kind of just grabbing each other out here. But this is gonna be 3 down on the side of FTWin, I believe. Jackpot is gonna be 2 up though, all things considered. And we do see that Zipcaster being used. Will it get any value? SendouQ has to retreat. Control is being lost for about a few quick moments there as the tricycle is being fired from distance. And it looks like with any abandon there, FTWin does get the zones at the end of it, forcing Jackpot into the penalty box.
Very back and forth kind of situation right now. But more importantly, teams are just waiting for the game to actually start, which is the map lowering and then everything kind of opening up right here. But I found out you want to be in control of the zone when this happens, because you still have the advantage. You get to paint up all of mid if you got a little bit of a lockout situation going on. It's pretty easy, or not easy, but it's easier to get a huge lead when you're the team that forces the thing to lower down and you don't have any penalty points to worry about. And are they going to continue this push? I guess is the question. It looked for sure like they were going to lose it. Instead, they're coming right back in. And this is your grab bag round for Jackpot to get up as many points as they can. Are they still not going to cap it?
My goodness. That's when going to be able to get the cap. I don't think they will, at least in this intro. There is the cap. And that will put Jackpot not just 3 down and on top of the delayed wipe. FTWin has control of the zone. They are out of the penalty points on top of it. So look for the chance for FTWin to continue up with this pressure there. As you can see, Biscuit they're with that crab tank, trying to see if they can get Jackpot out there. Yes, able to take out Madness on top of it, but they leave the zone at least unchecked for about a few quick moments there. Can Jared be able to get the contest with the Dewey's in mind, able to pressure them out for just a tiny bit, but FTWin still has control at least until then.
Jared was looking for help from those Ink Zukas, but once Madness' Zuka just kind of ran out, they realized, oh, I need to get out of this situation by then. It's just a little too late, but still, the rest of Jackpot able to clean up, get control of zone, and now they're getting the splats on top of it as well. They got a lot of penalty points they got to chew through before they start getting some more points up on the board. Doesn't really matter at this point because they have control of all of this space in mid to work with. Build up their specials, get their sodas, get their crabs, get their Zukas and Ink Strikes ready to go, whereas they're keeping FTWin back in their own spawn at this. Look, they got to pop crab all the way back there.
Yeah, they had to. That was the most defensive crab they had to just even stay alive and be able to fight. As Biscuit will follow up with the second crab in tow. FTWin is able to get the zones back, and that will be Madness going down on top of it. And that is not a delayed wipe. Excuse me. That is a full wipe on top of it. FTWin's going to try to do the same thing that Jackpot did to them, but we got to see if the success is there.
One more little win of an engagement, and FTWin is going to find their way into the lead right here. These Ink Strikes just trying to do something, just keep Kyo pinned down for like 2 seconds, ultimately not accomplishing a whole lot. Now they're starting to attack the zone a little bit. Kyo's getting some soda down just for themselves, while the rest of the players of Jackpot are nowhere near the zone at all. They're back at their own spawn, as Biscuit is making sure they can't come down the left side. It looks like they're guarding the right side as well. There's just no room for Jackpot to break through. Finally, they're trying to have to force something, but there's not enough there. FTWin holds on and gets the win in game 1.
You mentioned earlier you want to be in control of that zone when the water level is lowered down around 60 points, and Jackpot was able to take it down to 23 points-ish before losing control, and then FTWin just got it back with a quick wipeout, and then locking out Jackpot before they could even fight back. So unfortunately, that condition where they needed to retain that zone when the water level drops was not met, and that FTWin was able to crawl. Not even crawl. They were able to fight themselves back into winning that one by the end of it there. So great work by FTWin to basically be able to win a lot of those key fights. Even some of their crafting usage was stellar there, as you get a few replays there with Madness going down with that Stamper in mind. There's that wipeout to boot.
And this is something to keep in mind, the mental aspect of the set that's going on right now. Jackpot is now down, has lost they've lost their fourth straight game, all of which by KO. That one lasted 4 minutes, which was better than any of the ones against Starburst. But Jackpot, it seems like they feel the most pressure out of anyone to win every single tournament that they sign up for. Whenever they lose, they're always going on Twitter, and it's like they're trying to offer an apology to everyone for not winning the tournament. Like, it's fine, but that's the pressure they put on themselves, and that seems to come out in their gameplay, especially in these situations where it's like, okay, we got this huge lead, and now we're starting to lose it, and now we're starting to try to make some hero plays, and we're not playing the style that we're used to playing as Jackpot. FTWin with the more momentum at their backs right now. And by the way, the biggest lead Jackpot got in that last set was off of that push where they did lower the water level. Afterwards, They only scored 1 more point across the whole time, and FTWin was able to come back. So, game 2 now, going to Mako Mart, which is a map FTWin wants to go to anyways. We know from the previous set.
Definitely, and you're right. I mean, Jackpot probably has put themselves in that pressure where they want to win almost everything they sign up on site. But sometimes performance differences can be the key there, where you may not perform up to snuff. So Jackpot needs to pretty much get a win regardless of the situation. They've dropped 4 in a row. 3 to Starburst, 1 FTWin so far. They have a great start right now with 70 points remaining, and Jared popping the crab tank into FTWin's enemy territory there. Jared's not able to pressure him just enough, but it may have done just enough for FTWin to be pushed back for a few extra seconds to get some points out of there. As the trip strike has been used, Leafy's just pinged over the zone, at least for now, and they still retain control by the end of it. Here comes that crab tank, and that crab tank, is that crab tank going to do enough to get Jackpot out of there, or even get the zones capped in their favor? We'll have to wait and see on that one as Push being dished up, but Jackpot still has control, even with it going back to neutral for a few times.
No, as long as .Q is on top of that area right there by the blocks, Jackpot's going to be in a situation where they can always at least keep the zone neutralized, especially when everybody on Jackpot is starting to win their 1v1 fights and keeping things backed up. Booyah Bob's going to chase everybody away from the zone. Jackpot not going to weather those Ink Strikes, though. Nicely timed Ink Strikes. Nobody got splatted. It didn't matter. They were timed and thrown perfectly to where they couldn't really deal with it. So auto cap for FTWin. They don't get control of the zone, but they do put all the penalty points back on the Jackpot, keep themselves alive in this game.
I mean, any extra few seconds or even extra few minutes that you can afford is going to be key there, as Jackpot gets 3 out of the picture from FTWin, and Jackpot is able to continue to move themselves up again. The mental game here, try to win this game to at least get yourselves back on track. Let's see if Jackpot still has .Q now playing on that right stack, just trying to make sure to get Paint down and get the clears to help support the rest of their team. The Samper and Squeezer, by the way, both down. Leafy has gone down on top of it, but it's going to be 2 down on FTWin's side. We may be seeing the penalty points getting out of here shortly, unless FTWin is able to contest.
I like the movement there by .Q, which I guess I might reference here in a second because it looks like there could be a KO unless they can find a way to take care of the Stamper player, which it looks like they don't, but it doesn't matter. 5 seconds left away. Here comes those Ink Strikes yet again. And look at the placements of those Ink Strikes, but it doesn't matter this time around because Jackpot had enough players left alive to paint over the key areas to keep it going. There's no way they're going to hold onto it right here unless Jared just goes bananas, which they kind of do, but still ultimately FTWin finally wrestles away the zone to keep themselves alive in it yet again, but nowhere near close enough to where they can hold on to more. And some other player just fell out of the sky and instantly just evaporated right there. Not sure what that was about, but maybe now it's FTWin that's getting sped up.
Yeah, FTWin might be trying to take some of that momentum in their favor there as Leaf, but all that being said and done, though, Jackpot did get controlled back just earlier, and there's not much penalty points left in the tank. This has to be a few fights, and the zone have to be forced into neutral to at least buy themselves more time. But Jared has other ideas. The Crab Tank gets one out of the picture. That might be enough, as that will be a delayed 3 on top of it. Jackpot will for sure stamp a victory here, and that is a much-needed victory there. They snapped their 4-game losing skid, and they tied the setup 1-1 apiece.
That was a must-win for them.
Yep.
If they lost 5 straight, their run is over at that point. But yes, been able to win, and in the fashion that they were able to win that one. It wasn't really close at all at any point in that game. Jackpot was able to get control of things early, build up a massive lead, and anytime FTWin was able to do anything to the zone, it was just barely flip it back over to their favor before they instantly have to retreat or just get completely bodied to where they have to respawn back at their own spawn anyways. So at no point was FTWin in any situation to accomplish anything in that one. And it really just comes down to that pencil of .Q just being alive the whole time, pushing up with their teammates, getting the right stack, but as soon as they were in any kind of danger, automatically retreating back to the left stack, hiding behind the cover of those little uninkable blocks right there, and making sure that they could just still attack the zone over and over again. That's why FTWin couldn't keep capping the zone back, buying more time for the rest of the players to come and get the splats, push FTWin back. Game goes to Jackpot. They stop the bleeding.
Yeah, Jackpot, and as you mentioned earlier, .Q just being in position to be able to paint over that zone very well was going to help their cause, because FTWin was not able to wrestle it back. FTWin needed several picks out of their against Jackpot even to be able to do just that. So we get to see Jackpot win Mako Zones. It's 1-1 apiece, and Mincemeat is back again in the third map of this rotation. Well, one of these two teams, I think it was FTWin that had Mincemeat in their 6 maps.
Yeah, but that was clearly a Moonlight thing. Yep. I think, I guess this is like an FTWin favored map, isn't it? I was thinking like Jackpot, Leafy can use Tent. Obviously, they're going to use Pencil for pretty much anything. Pencil works everywhere, but it works out really better than normal here. This seems like a situation that will favor Jackpot in particular, but this is why they play the game. And just another reminder, FTWin does have the power of Lana Del Rey on their side, so that's got to account for something. But they're bringing back the double. What's going on here? Is this double sword, one of each variety? At least they're different colors, so they look kind of cool side by side to each other. But there it is. Worked last time.
You know what? If it worked last time, why not dish on it Mincemeat? I guess you have the double sword. They also have double crab on top of on FTWin's, and so maybe something cooking with not just the sword and the crab tank to boot. But of course, as you mentioned earlier, Leafy, I believe on that tent umbrella as well, where Leafy's just been on a tear with that. So love to see how this one progresses through. Jackpot is gonna probably be contend with this map, all things considered. Loses the Stamper Jewel though, as that Stamper finds one. Jackpot is 2 down to boot, as we do see the Slipcaster can't find anybody else. No, not quite, not able to connect to any more, but FTWin does have control of the zone by the end of it.
By the way, if you were so tired of the shooter meta, there's only 2 shooters of the 8 weapons in this game. I mean, they're both splash fanatics, so that's unfortunate, but hey, this is what you guys been asking for this whole time, right? Here we go. And Crab, well, it's always been really good, as Jared's been showing off so far between the splash and the dualies they've been using. in this set, but Jackpot taking advantage of this map that is, I'm assuming, favored towards them, and right now has control of the zone. Madness pushed up along here, can do a good job of arcing their machine shots, but the rest of the players do go down, including the pencil of SendouQ. But everybody's stuck in. Okay, so I'm about to say, how does nobody die to that? And it ends up being 2 players. Madness throwing the Booyah Bomb in the perfect spot. There's no way to get away from it. Gets bonked on the head before they can jump away, but still damage done. Jackpot adds a lot of points to their lead.
The rest of FTWin is just kind of put into that corner there, and that Booyah Bomb was pretty well placed. Yes, it didn't get both of them right away, but it was one and then just a follow-up to boot. That just gave Jackpot a lot more points to go through, and that was just in a bad position for FTWin overall. So FTWin just has even more points to try to wrestle back on that side of the fence, as Jared does use that crab tank. 2 bull swords, by the way, went down on FTWin's and their kill, using that tri-slasher against a trade at the very least with Jared, but that's really all it's gonna be. Still a bit of a scrappy fight across the board, though. Not one team really finding the answer quite yet, but FTWin will be content with control of the zone, and then they have to put a lot of the array on that crab, at least for a quick while. See if FTWin is able to find any more value here, as this zone is stuck in neutral until FTWin gets it then and there.
Zera's having a little bit of difficulty getting those Zipcaster shots to line up to where they could accomplish anything. There was a lot of players right there and the potential to get a splat or 2, but ultimately having to recline back without anything. Leafy pushing up and just falling back slightly, ever so slightly. Probably just didn't feel like, I don't know, maybe they felt like some bomb pressure was coming onto him. But regardless, penalty points are gone for FTWin, and so is 2 of their players. So that might be a little bit of an issue, as Bursey's the last player left alive. But providing jumps for their players to get back into this one, Jackpot has yet to wrestle control of the zone back into their way. And if you're FTWin, you really want to hold on to things here. You don't want to have to burn through penalty points. You only got a minute and a half left to go. It's a lot of time, but still, okay. And actually, it's not a whole lot. 20 penalty points, not really that big of a penalty, but still, Jackpot able to hold on to control of things, at least for now.
Both sword users have been going down so fast on top of it from FTWin's side. FTWin's end. Zera's going down on top of the other, just giving Jackpot enough room to work with pretty much the squid advantage to boot. And we could see Burst able to get 1 with the crab tank. 20 points is, as you mentioned, isn't enough, but they have to get some of the control with the zone, but they can't keep losing some of these fights all across the board. Delayed 3, by the way, on top of it. They're gonna have to escape nut there, and Jackpot's gonna be able to burn more points out of there. We could be seeing a KO shortly if Jackpot's able to lock FTWin out of here. We might, and it should be happening soon, unless FTWin gets one last fight in. And it's just a lot of ink being thrown into the zone. Jackpot gets it by the end of it. The crab tank is shut down, but it may not matter too much. Booyah there is gonna be done to fully secure it, and Jackpot is up 2-1, 2 in a row now for Jackpot.
What a difference just getting a win underneath your belt does for your team. Yep. That loss that FTWin handed down to Jackpot on game 1. Ever since then, whatever has been plaguing this Jackpot team in previous tournaments in similar situations, they seem to have overcome it. They looked really solid in that game 2. That game 3, they used their comp to their advantage. Leafy never overstepping the bounds with that tint. Whereas you saw a lot of FTWin players, they didn't have a lot of range to go with at all. I mean, they had their swords were their longest range weapons. Tell me how that makes sense logically. But they just had to keep funneling in to try to make plays. It basically used Bursty as a bit of an anchor splash, if that makes sense. Bursty was just trying to make sure they were capping zone and having crab that they could use and providing jumps for their swords to come back in and try to make plays. But the plays the swords were trying to make just never really landed, and Jackpot was able to take advantage of that.
I get the sense that FTWin tried to base a lot of their win conditions around that two sword, the double stamper, and the double crab on top of it. You do have you mentioned before just the anchor splash, but probably I think that was pretty much the approach they tried to go with the crab tanks. But Jackpot was just able to find ways to work around it. Of course, the sniper and the slosh machine to probably neutralize some of it too. But another thing I noticed here is Wahoo Zones is he's here soon. I'm gonna have a lot of thoughts about that, but before I do, so let's put it this way. a lot of the two swords went down so fast in Mincemeat zones, so they couldn't find ways to contest. They had to keep resetting back each go around. So FTWin was pretty much having to play from behind for a good chunk of it. So that's how. So FTWin is down 1-2. Wahoo Zones is here.
By the way, Hydra's really good on this map. Not that you would ever see it, but this is a map my team would always counterpick in those Nintendo tournaments. Like, we would just go here all the time just because Hydra always worked. The problem is Zone really worked here, or E-Leader really works here as well, until they decided to add a pole in the middle of it, which makes this all kind of weird. But I think this is the first time I've seen this played competitively since they added the poles. So we'll see how that plays a factor into things. But still, it doesn't really matter. You're still going to use pencil. Now you're going to bring out Zuka from Lana Del Rey. When you're facing possibly be eliminated, just put Biscuit on the Inkzuka and try to make something work right here. But it really just comes down to, honestly, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen this map. I don't know how to play this anymore.
We don't normally see Wahoo Zones that often. I think there's only like maybe one tournament in the last like handful of, maybe half year even, where Wahoo Zones was even played. But I have to gather my memory banks on that one. Yeah.
To be fair, again, this is only here because the teams put it into their preset maps before the tournament started. So this is probably a map they've been using a lot over the course of the season. So got to be feeling good about this map coming up. Regardless of the fact that they haven't seen it in other tournaments, doesn't mean they haven't been playing it a lot in this season here.
That's very true. Just mainly for some of us having to see it again. For that note, well, either the spectators are crying or the spectators are happy to see Wahoo Zones. Who knows at this point? As Zones is going to be neutralized on both sides. They're managed to find a jump for Leafy to hop right into the swing of things. And it is going to be FTWin, by the way, with the early lead here with Grace Human and 15 in, but it is going to be 2 down. Blue Bomb being dished out here on top of it. Stanford's going to have to just retweet, and it will be Jackpot taking down on some of those points remaining. They're nice find, by the way, from Leafy. From range, I think it was a max range squeezer splat, if I'm not mistaken.
A very nice splat, indeed. But how is FTWin going to break out of this one? You can either kind of dogpile on the left side of the map, which Jared is... I think you lost track of the Jared. You're going to get punished for it. Sharking right there. Jared, I mean, that's just kind of knowing this map is realized, okay, they can either just drop down from the right side or the mid, or go all the way down to the left. And if I just shark right in this one spot, I can cover pretty much everything but that, like, this route that it looks like that one player, Kio's, trying to go to on the opposite side right there. But if somebody else guards that one, it creates a great lockout opportunity where it's very, very difficult for FTWin to get back into this one. And it looks like that is not going to be the case. Nope. Jackpot wins 3 straight since FTWin packing, and they're very, very eager to get into a rematch with their old-time rival Starburst in Grand Finals.
Yeah, congratulations, Jackpot winning that losers finals and moving on to Grands there. And that second map, I look back at the second map of the set in the Mako Zones one, the one they needed to win. It's a very big difference between being down 0-2 to just tying it up 1-1. And Jackpot, knowing they have a cushion to work with, just pretty much played back to their usual styles. Of course, with the assist of Mincemeat, where Leafy can be back in Tent Umbrella duties. Jackpot looked like they were back to their usual selves there. FTWin just did not have much of a response. Yes, FTWin did get an early lead, but it didn't really amount to a whole lot. Jackpot was pretty much in very good control for a good chunk of that map. And yeah, as you mentioned, they're eager to look to face Starburst again in Grands.
Well, actually, I don't know how eager they might be, considering did they really even face them the last time? It was just so you blinked and the set was over. So we're going to be queuing that one up. Are we just rolling right into that set? I guess is the question that we're going here. Are we taking a break? We're cool with whatever here. Keo